In the house. Yes, sir. We are here in the house. Um, Welcome this evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls all over the world. Good to see you tonight. And good evening. I was watching the Warriors game on delay. I watched the replay of it, and yeah, they handled Memphis 100%. They did. I was just thinking to myself, looking at the standings, and not just looking at the standings, and seeing the last half of the play-in tournament, right? The last half of the play-in tournament. And in the process of looking at that, I'm thinking to myself, wait a minute. Who was in the bottom of the play-in tournament in the Western Conference? Well, who was in the bottom of the play-in tournament and who was in the bottom of the play-in tournament? Who's in the bottom of the play-in tournament in the Western Conference? The question is, this team, Phoenix, the Lakers, and Golden State, that was actually supposed to be flipped around, right? That was actually supposed to be flipped around. Those guys were supposed to be at the top of the West. So instead, they're at the bottom. So if the season ended today, this is what we have. We have Dallas playing Phoenix and the Lakers playing the Warriors. What up, Sid? So with that being said, right? With that being said, I'm thinking to myself, how does this affect these guys' legacy? Well, what do you mean, how does this affect their legacy? So you got 4 teams, Dallas, Phoenix, the Lakers, Golden State. 2 of these 4 teams is not getting in the playoffs. Now, if you look at the Dallas Mavericks, right? You take a look at the Dallas Mavericks. Luka will have missed the playoffs in back-to-back seasons. Now, last season was an anomaly. They shut him down. But that's not what history is going to let you remember. History to the casual fan is going to be he missed the playoffs. If he ends up losing to Phoenix and then turns around and loses to the Lakers Warriors winner, that's twice in back-to-back seasons he misses the playoffs. And again, history won't be kind to them. Luka missed the playoffs in back-to-back seasons in his prime. Luka's supposed to be a top 5 player in the league, and he misses the playoffs in back-to-back seasons in his prime. How is that possible? He had Kyrie Irving on his team, and he missed the playoffs in back-to-back seasons, and you won't get context. The fact that they held Luka out the last 10 games of the season so they can miss the playoffs, so they can preserve their lottery pick. You won't get that. No, that won't happen. All you'll see is the Dallas Mavericks missed the playoffs in Luka's prime in back-to-back seasons. If Phoenix misses the playoffs, I feel like this Phoenix team has a 3-year window. Including this season, it's 3 years. And with that being said, this Phoenix team, right? With that being said, this Phoenix team with Bradley Beal, Kevin Durant, Devin Booker. With Kevin Durant, by the way, being on the other side of his prime, he misses the playoffs. Again, that'll be twice in 5 years. He missed the playoffs in 1920 due to injury, made the playoffs in 21, made the playoffs in 22, made the playoffs last year. Will history be kind enough to allow him to do that. But then on the flip side to that, look at this crew that he was on and go, you missed the playoffs with Devin Booker and Bradley Beal? Bradley Beal is 2 years removed from averaging 30 a game in the league. And he's in his prime. He's only 30 years old. But he is succumbing to injury. He's had a back problem. You got a 27-a-game guy with him in Devin Booker, who was just in the NBA Finals 3 years ago. How will history treat these guys? The Los Angeles Lakers Golden State winner, one of those guys are out in that 9-10 game. One of those guys is OUT out. And if it's the Golden State Warriors, that's Steph Curry missing the playoffs for the third time in 5 years. Will history be kind to him? Even though in 1920, he broke his hand in the first, I think, 3 games of the season, and he missed the whole season. And then in 21, this was the inception of the play-in tournament. He actually led the league in scoring that year. Not only did he lead the league in scoring that year, he finished third in the league in MVP votes. But they missed the playoffs. And then this year, 2 years removed from being an NBA champion and being bounced by the same team that bounced him the year before, how will history treat him? What kind of narrative will Steph Curry have on him? Because I can tell you right now, the casual will not be kind to him. And that's where the narrative actually gets built. It's not built by guys like me. No. It's not built by the machine. No. It's the casual that goes with it, that runs with it. Because the casual fan is the one who can shut it down. Like, nah, that's nothing. Because I can shut it down. But if enough people hear it, they might go, wait a minute, this isn't good. LeBron James will, if they lose to the Warriors in the play-in tournament, again, the playoffs started today, right? The playoffs started today, and they lose in the play-in tournament. They're out. OUT out. With them being out, it's the third time in 6 years James has missed the playoffs. Can we use the logic that, he was old? Can we keep going on with his team was beat up? Anthony Davis got hurt. Can we use the logic? The same thing with Steph Curry? Well, he ended up winning an NBA championship in the process. That happened. So does that save face? Does that give him grace? Because to be in Los Angeles for 6 years and miss the playoffs half the time that you're there, miss the playoffs half the time that you're there, what kind of logic are we going to have talking about James? Because this goes back to my original point of, which I think is really interesting. Can you stick around too long? That's the $1 million question. When is the right time to leave? I'm thinking about guy like, what does Larry Bird's legacy look like if Lenny is still alive? Because Bird said he would have quit in '88 had Lenny lived. He said 2 years after that draft, he said he would have quit in '88. He would have been out. That puts Bird in the league 79-80 to 87-88. 79-80, 80-81, 81-82, 82-83, 83-84, 84-85, 85-86, 86-87. That's 9 seasons. What does Bird legacy look like if he quits after 9 years? 3 league MVPs. I think he's got maybe 15,000 points. What does his legacy look like if he does that? What does Shaq's legacy look like if after the 2006 season, in 14 years in the league, Shaq says, I'm out. He doesn't play those extra 3 years. He's just out. He doesn't go to Phoenix. He doesn't play in Cleveland. And he doesn't play for the Celtics. He just goes, I'm out. Wins in the NBA Finals 5 times in 7 years, winning it 4. Leaving the game as a first-team All-Pro. Still finishing as a top 5, arguably a top 5 player in the game. What kind of legacy does Shaq have at that point if he quits in 2006 and goes, yo, I'm 34 years old, I'm out. I don't want to play no more. I'm good. He probably isn't as high on the scoring list. He's got one less All-Pro team because he made the All-Pro team in 09 when he was in Phoenix. He made the All-Pro team in 09 when he was in Phoenix. He's got, let's see, did he make the All-Star team in 07? I don't think he made the All-Star team in 07. He didn't make it in 08. He did make it in 09, though. And he was actually All-Star. He was the MVP of the All-Star game. So 06, 07, 07, 08, 08, 09. So he's got 2 more All-Star nods. He's got 1 more All-Pro nod. And in them 3 years, because I don't, to be honest with you, I don't count Boston. He only played like 50 games there and tore his Achilles. He was over when he was in Boston. Yeah, he was over. What does his legacy look like, though, if he doesn't play those extra 3 years? If he doesn't play that next year in Miami, where they got swept out of the playoffs in the first round, where he gets traded in the middle of the season in 08 to Phoenix. He doesn't make the All-Star team that year, by the way. What does his legacy look like? But then there's the flip side to that. The flip side to that is guys who weren't able to stick around as long as we would like to have seen them stick around. For example, what if we get those 4 years of Magic? What if we get Magic's 4 more years? What if we get Magic for 4 more years? What happens? What kind of legacy does Magic have if he doesn't have to quit in 91? We get those 4 more prime years of him. How does he look today with, I don't know, an extra 6,000, 7,000 points and an extra 3,000 assists? What does he look like? What happens to Magic? Because I think he retired with 10,000 assists. He was an all-time assist leader. If he's able to play those extra 4 years, I think, if I'm not mistaken, the way my math worked, if he was able to play those extra 4 years, that's just his prime. He ain't quitting after 4 years. He just is giving us those extra 4 years. The way my math works, because Magic retired with 17,000 points. In those next 4 years, if he can give us another 6,000, 7,000 more points, we're looking at almost 25,000 points and almost 15,000 assists. How are we talking about Magic? So there's a difference between guys who were able to stick around and left too late, as opposed to guys who left too early. And what happens with those guys if they don't leave too late? What happens to Shaq? This is a big deal when I'm thinking about these playoff implications. When I'm thinking about what the Golden State Warriors, if they miss the playoffs for the 3rd time in 5 years, what is this going to do for Steph Curry's legacy? LeBron James playing for the Los Angeles Lakers for 6 years and missing the playoffs half the time he was there. What is this going to do for his legacy? What is this going to mean for him? Kevin Durant missing the playoffs with Bradley Beal and Devin Booker and himself still in his prime at 35 years old. He might not be in the best shape, but he's still in his prime. He's on the other side of it, having one of the most efficient seasons that he's had this year. Still money in the mid-range, still scoring with the best of them, still regarded as, in some people's eyes, arguably the best small forward in the game. Still, to this day. So if he misses the playoffs, what happens to, how are we talking about him? What happens to him? And I think this is a conversation. I really feel like this is a conversation that needs to be had, man, because it's gonna be real tricky come 15, 20 years from now when two of these four teams are gonna miss the playoffs, guys. Because I think this is what the play-in tournament is gonna look like. It's gonna be Dallas, Phoenix, the Lakers, and Golden State. That means two of these four teams are out. So because of that, what does this mean for these guys? How are we talking about LeBron James? There are people who would be, there are people who don't like him anyway. There are people who already have ill feelings toward him. I already have him cemented. But this goes back to my original logic of you can stick around too long and it could hurt your legacy. That could happen. You can stick around too long and it could hurt your legacy. But you could also not play long enough and it could also hurt your legacy. So I want to hear from you guys. What happens? Because I'm looking at the action last night, and to be honest with you, I see what's going on with the Golden State Warriors. They're an average team. They are an average team. They did what they were supposed to do last night against the Memphis Grizzlies. I'm not even sure why the Memphis Grizzlies are trying to win games. I don't even get it. I don't. Why are they even trying to win games? I don't understand it for the life of me. Right? So they handle Memphis. In the process of them handling Memphis, they're still winning. They're still looking like an average team. So with that being said, what happens to this team? What happens to Curry's legacy? Well, was he playing on a bad team? Because if you think about it, I mean, they're only 2 years removed from making the playoffs. But with that being said, I can also use the logic that Klay Thompson isn't what he used to be. No way is he what he used to be. Not only is Klay Thompson not what he used to be, Dre isn't what he used to be. These young guys are trying to usher their way in. Kuminga's maybe not developing as fast as other people would like him to develop. And how does that work for Steph Curry's legacy? What does that mean for him? Because I know for a fact he doesn't want to be a part of a rebuild. And I don't blame him. I'm 35, I'm 36 years old, man. I don't have time for that. I do not have time for that. No. Absolutely not. I probably got 2 more years. I probably got another year at this level, maybe 2, tops, before I start really slowing down. And I can't be a part of a rebuild. I'm not James, where I'm going to be playing at this level at 38, 39 years old. I'm probably not going to be doing that. I'm probably not going to do that. So with that being said, what happens to these guys' legacies? I'm interested to hear from you guys, man. I want to hear what you guys have to say about where these guys would ultimately land if that happens. Where would Where would that put these guys? Because I could tell you right now, you can stick around too long and it could hurt your legacy. I could definitely, I can attest to that. You can stick around way too long and it could be a part of the demise of your legacy. That could happen. Now, I'm one of these people that I don't think that James could really do anything to hurt his legacy, because I feel like he is where he is already. Now, there might be some people who would say, yo, we can't leave out how he played at age 40. We can't leave out how he played at age 41. And this goes back to my original logic about him sticking around longer than he should have. Same thing with Curry. I hear people telling me, Curry can play at this level for another three or four more years. No, he can't. Because if he could play at this level for another 3 or 4 more years, he'd still be 36. So that's just not true. You guys are under the impression that Steph Curry is going to be 36 in 3 years. No, he isn't. He is not. Just like James isn't going to be, just like James at 39 is not going to be 36 like he was 3 years ago. These guys are going to slow down. That's what's going to happen. So with that being said, what happens to Curry? What happens to KD? What happens to these guys? I'm interested to hear from you guys. I got a couple of callers on line one. Tim, what up, brother? How you doing tonight? What's going on, my man?
What's up with you, huh? What's going on with you?
What up?
Nothing chilling, man. You know why I'm here, man. Hey, listen, chill. My Timberwolves, we want the Nuggets. We want the smoke. We want them. That game,
Sure.
even though we didn't win that game, oh yes, if we healthy, oh yeah, we want them.
Mm-hmm.
We want them. For
I don't
sure.
hate it. To be honest with you, I don't hate it. I think you guys are the only team in the Western Conference that really got a shot against them.
Yeah.
To be honest with you. If I'm being honest, I think you guys are the only team that has a shot against them. I don't think there's anybody else that has a shot against them.
Before that game started, when I looked at our beat writers on Twitter and they were saying Rudy and Nas wouldn't play, I'm like, Joker might go for 100. I legitimately thought he might go for 100 that game.
Nah, that's not happening. We know that they would not allow that. No way.
No, but I'm just like, he got Kyle Anderson, Luka, and they did a pretty good job, though. You know what I'm saying? He still do what he does because, he's Joker. But as far as everybody else, though, I feel like the only person we didn't keep in check, which I kind of knew we was going to have a problem with, was MPJ.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We couldn't keep him in check. And the reason why we couldn't keep him in check because we was doubling Joker. And then he'll make a swing pass, and then KCP or Aaron Gordon will find, you know what I'm saying, MPJ.
Mm-hmm.
But
all right, Timmy. I know where to find you at, brother. Good to talk to you. Yup. What up, Eli?
OG was good.
What's up, brother?
So I think one of the benefits of the trifecta, the holy NBA 2010s kind of trifecta of Durant, James, and Curry, is that they've done so much in the past that I think that it would be hard to cement or to argue against their legacy, especially in the latter years of their career.
Mm-hmm.
I think to a certain degree, we are illogical when it comes to some people, like particularly these guys. I mean, these guys have been hooping at a level that is just unprecedented, even into their mid to late 30s, as far as James is concerned.
Right.
And I think that we have seen this, and we think that this is a normal thing, just because and it's not normal. It's not normal. KD, I mean, the efficiency that this man, I'm not a KD fan at all. Bron is my guy forever, but I respect, the body of work. I mean, KD, just all three of them, Steph, I mean, these guys have done some incredible things. And so I don't think, for me personally, because I'm not a casual and I actually care about the context of situations and I actually watch games and I've been watching, that it really does anything for the legacy, because what they're doing is not normal anyway, if that makes sense.
It does.
So
it does.
Go ahead.
It does. I'm just thinking about what I'm thinking about more than anything is I'm thinking about the casual fan. That's who I'm thinking about. And I'm thinking about how easily he's going to be influenced by a Curry hater, by a James hater, by a KD hater, and how that's going to affect. Because I know for a fact how easily narratives can be created.
Yeah,
and
easily,
and
especially
not
on social
only
media.
How easily, not only how easily a narrative can be created, how it can just spread like wildfire. And if enough people get a hold of it, well, damn, Curry
now
missed
it's
the
the
playoffs.
truth.
Right. Curry missed the playoffs 3 times in 5 years. Just leaving out the fact that he was 36 years old. Leaving out the fact that,
broke his hand and
I broke my hand and I missed the whole season that year. And I led the league in scoring the year I missed the playoffs, which, by the way, without the play-in tournament, we were a playoff team. We were the 8th seed. And I finished 3rd in league MVP votes that year. They don't want to talk about that.
And then in 22, he won a championship with no superstar, essentially.
Right.
So,
and Klay Thompson coming off 2 career-ending injuries. We won the NBA championship with those guys.
Yeah.
But that's not going to be the narrative. It will be, you missed the playoffs 3 times in 5 years?
It'll be interesting to hear the conversation. I think, though, part of my optimism is that what we consider to be a casual will be redefined in the sense that now there's more film, there's more tape, there's more, awareness about the game. I think available to people all around the world more than ever. I don't think I ever remember a time where the league was this global and this populated in terms of people down the street. Even if they don't watch games, they know what the NBA is. They know the product that they're getting.
They know who Steph Curry is.
They know who Steph
is.
exactly. Those types of things. So what I will hope for is that because unfortunately the casuals do run the product. The casuals are the ones buying tickets.
They do.
The casuals are the ones. The junkies are the people that are.
They already got us on the hook. They already got us on the hook.
Exactly.
We already on the hook.
Had us and been us.
Right. I'm already my dealer down the block. He know that I'm coming to see him. It doesn't make a difference when it is.
Doesn't make a difference.
He's trying to get the other ones. Because he already got us on the hook. In the NBA, they know us already. They already got us on the hook. Right.
Exactly. So I think like for a Luka, for example, somebody who's still younger on that side, or even a Joker, even with all the things that he's done, or Giannis, that kind of post 2010s. Slash 2020s generation, if it's a situation like where Giannis gets bounced out the first round, or how even we're talking about Embiid, yes, he's got the league MVP as of late, but you've been bounced out of the second round, I think 6 years now. So at some point in time, we're going to start having to have a real conversation, but the fact that a conversation even has to be had has to do with the fact that your body of work isn't large enough for us to gloss over all of those things. So what we see is kind of what we get. Joker, you won a championship. That's great. You got 2 MVPs and stuff like that, but you only won 1. We know you can give us at least 2, maybe even 3 more. But if you miss, if you're in a situation where you're at the bottom of the West, that hurts you a lot because you're still young and you're in your prime. Luka, I think it's his own worst enemy. I think he's so good that it hurts him. Because I remember, I think it was you who put out a video where it was like talking about why do you have to be 30, 14, and 12 every single night for your team?
7, 18, and 15. Like, why you got to do that much?
Crazy.
In order for us to win, you shouldn't have to do that much.
You shouldn't have to do that. So I don't know if it's a front office thing. I don't know if it's the culture thing. I don't know what it is, but I think that if he misses the playoffs, I think, or Shea misses the playoffs, or, Anthony Edwards, like those younger guys who we know they have what they have a chance to be, but we have not seen it yet because the greatest, tester is time. I think it hurts them more than the James, than the Curry, and then the Durant, because these guys are, multiple championships, multiple MVPs, all league, all of that stuff. So
I feel like their legacy is cemented too. I do. I do.
Sure.
At the end of the day, I do feel like their legacy is cemented. I just bring it up because I know that these guys are still playing at a high level, and the expectation on them at this point in their career is still high. But for a guy like Luka, like we just talked about with Steph Curry, like we're going to leave out the fact that Curry broke his hand and he was out.
Exactly.
Well, we're going to leave out the fact that Dallas sat Luka. For the rest of the season.
So they
but they're not going to talk about that.
They're
not going to talk about the fact that Kyrie Irving got traded in the middle of the season. Damn, you missed the playoffs for Kyrie Irving? Really? That's what happened? Maybe you aren't as good in your prime. Maybe you aren't as good as we think you are. So that's the kind of stuff that I think is really interesting, though. But I appreciate you, brother. Absolutely, my man. Good to talk to you. No doubt about it, man. That's interesting stuff, yo. Because like I said, when I look at the casual fan and how easily influenced they are when it comes to narratives, it gets real tricky. What up, Vinny?
What up, Chill?
What up?
Man, this the time of the year where some nasty narratives get pushed, man. I dread it, and I hate the play-in, by the way.
By the way, let's make sure we clear on that. So we clear on that. I hate it.
Yeah, man, but I feel like I kind of agree with what the last guy said. I feel like the more so veteran players, the Kevin Durant's, the LeBron James, the Steph Curry's don't take as much of a hit. Mm-hmm. But if anyone out of those three do take the hit, it is Kevin Durant because of what he's done over the past few years, and people will leave the context out of it later on. Mm-hmm. They won't bring up the fact that James Harden had a hamstring injury and Kyrie was going through what he was going through in Brooklyn. Mm-hmm. They won't bring up the fact that he is playing the most games this year out of Bradley Beal and Devin Booker, which is ridiculous.
He's significantly older than both of them, by the way.
It's crazy, man. Mm-hmm. And I had a feeling in the preseason this would be the issue. That's their downfall. The injuries would. But, yeah, the casuals won't bring up the facts about the situations. Mm-hmm. But to Luka's case, I feel like we're going to start hearing those things about, man, I think people don't really want to play with Luka. He might just be a stat patter or whatever. It's like the James Harden in Houston narratives all over again, circulating.
Is it like Kobe Bryant? Like nobody wanted to play with Kobe in Los Angeles. The only reason why would it be like that?
I think we're getting to that point if he really does, and it hurts because he is a great player.
He is.
You can acknowledge when you do see great players, and I feel like once that narrative is put out on him, it's going to be hard to take it away until he really has some success in the playoffs. And people won't bring up the fact that, I mean, the defense on that unit is just atrocious. But
they've actually gotten better. They've actually gotten better with Gafford and with Lively. They've actually gotten better.
Yeah, but I
feel like better.
He's a part of that defensive, the inefficiencies.
Now we can talk about him. Sure, we can definitely talk about him. Yes.
Yeah.
We could definitely talk about him. Mm-hmm. But yeah, Vinny, I can appreciate that. Good to talk to you, brother. You know where to find me at. Yep. Cowboy, what up, brother?
Salute. But we know we're talking about the King James, and as much as I don't like him, I'm going to explain to you what's been going on from what I see. When I was coming up as a kid, my grandparents would work at one company for 20 years. That was the norm. When I started working, it was 10 years, maybe 5 years. You was always moving around, whichever was best for your money.
Right.
Now, it's whenever you can get when you get it. So when you look at the league is doing a hard reset. When Jordan came in the league, they had good players, but nobody was as dominant or more enticing than MJ. But when you look at LeBron, back in the 2000s, when he got involved, the league was kind of dying. Same thing with Jordan. Jordan's skill set over those years kept the league involved. Even though Jordan was passing, Jordan was dunking, Jordan was doing everything, scoring 30-plus a night. Plus, also to say the reason why you need a player on a team to do that is to get recognition, because people are going to say, yo, you see Luka the last 3-4 nights score 30-plus? He's balling, because it's not normal to see that consistency, which brings me back to my point with LeBron James. The fact that a man played 20 years when people are normally used to seeing people play 8 good years of MVP and maybe 4 of a fading off. You can look at what's his name, Wade. You can look at even Melo. All of them faded off after like a good 6 to 8 years. But because you have a guy who comes in who's not built like everyone, but uses the same path as Jordan, meaning being the face of the league at a young age, coming in like Kobe, where he was 18 years old and dominating and being the face of the East when the East was garbage, he was that guy. So it got a hard reset to where people, like you said, who are young, never even experienced the playoffs without LeBron James. So those guys are now carrying the torch. The problem with that is they're going to not say everything that happened before, like the 90s. What are we comparing him to? So it's not just LeBron James losing out after 20 years. You're losing out after everything before and during his career, because you got to remember how it was with Shaq and freaking – most people don't even remember Shaq and LeBron played.
Right.
Like, It was a good little matchup. Most people don't even remember who LeBron James played with. LeBron James played with a lot of legends, even if they were on their back end. Who can you say done that? Who can you say? And the best part about LeBron James for me, like I schooled Lamont in them because he kept saying, "Oh, you can't say how he went to Miami." This is my favorite part. You're an NBA player. How are you going to tell me I can't go to a place to where I can take a pay cut, market, make us a championship winning team? I get more money, not from the NBA, but on the publicism, the commercials. Because remember, when he was in Miami, stop looking at my lemonade. All of that came back. Remember, like with the Kobe?
Yes.
So that the marketing, he got more players. He got more people into the finals, older guys. He got a system. So he learned how to be a better player. Because when he went back to the Cavs, look at how he was with the Cavs the first 2 years with Kyrie. You see what I'm saying? So he learned to be a better player, and he went back, won a championship for his local team. I'm a New Yorker. I ain't never seen the championship in New York, and I don't expect it. But what I'm saying is LeBron James, I don't like everything he's done, but the consistency is unheard of. And the fact that he's able to do it, he deserves his respect. People need to understand that him going to Miami wasn't about basketball. It was about I need to get a coach or people behind me to make this better and make me a better player. And nobody remembers that second year LeBron James
wasn't even close to the dude that showed up.
I don't even think that was his best. Like that's like LeBron James elite. Like up here, and his best game is like here. Because that second year, him going downhill, him spinning, him hitting those shots, I was like, did he go to like Superman camp or something? Like,
and then the dude after him was better than him.
Exactly.
So the dude who showed up in 10, 11, as good as he was, the 11, 12 dude was better than him. And then the 12, 13 dude was better than both of them dudes. So you're like, damn. And he needed both of them, and he needed Miami because I don't think he would have done that in Cleveland. I don't.
Yes, because if you look at the market in Cleveland, the front office is not going to pay the money that they can to get the players because nobody's going to want to go to Cleveland. You can tell players, look what happened with Miami. He told them to take a pay cut. Dallas has them took a pay cut. All four of them took a pay cut. So he can make a money move and make a business move, and he expanded his brand. Same thing Jordan did. Everybody forget how Jordan did with the Olympics. Jordan took 52% of his income that he was making for the NBA and gave it to players. You know how embarrassing that is? I'm paying some of your salary to keep you here so I can bust your ass. That's the thing that most people don't remember.
I need you to be here.
Yeah. I need you to be here so I can show you up. Going into your locker room, hey, who's DMing me tonight? It's 50. Yeah. That's the stuff. That's why people don't respect LeBron James, because he's not the type of guy to come in and be disrespectful. Yeah, he'll come in, he'll joke, he'll have his little moments, he'll play good, hey, good game. But to me, I prefer that because that's the times for now. When you look at people like us, we're like, oh, he has to have that heart in that mode. 7 finals? You've been in 7 finals, 10 player. Like, that's 20 years. You have to be mentally strong to do this.
8 straight, 9 times in 10 years. Like I said, Cowboy, and I always stand on this logic, that there's a generation of kids that don't know the NBA finals. What I did when I was a kid, I don't remember the finals from 4th grade till 12th grade. I don't remember the finals without Magic in it.
I don't remember the finals without Jordan, Houston, Pacers, Lakers. And I'm looking at it like I
don't remember the finals from 4th grade. Listen to me what I'm telling you, Bob. From the 4th grade until Jordan. I don't remember the final until my senior year of high school without Magic in it. I don't remember it.
That's
so
crazy.
to think that I would see something like that again in my lifetime, where it was actually double that, where we got a guy go to the NBA championship 8 straight years, 9 times in 10 years. Like, you see these guys going to the NBA championship and how difficult it is to get there one time, but to continuously get there and keep going and then lose and then keep coming back. Like, damn, how hard is that? That's almost impossible. Yes.
Mr. West 7 times before he even won 1. So what are we talking about?
Right.
This is what I'm talking about. Like, people don't really like. I don't like LeBron James because I think that second year LeBron James, he could have repeated it at least 4 straight years. But for whatever reason, it didn't happen, because when he played that second year, that LeBron James, I was like, he's him. Just like with Kobe, when he beat out Eddie Jones and he was playing with Shaq in that first finals against the 76ers, I was like, that's him. So for me, he fell off. But the fact that he's still able to compete in the top 25 when players are being changed out every year. Look at Gillian Hayes. Look at all these guys. Every 2-3 years, they don't even make it past 4 years, or even an all-star selection. This guy he's unheard of, and he should be respected.
I'm playing with kids who I say to them, I played against your father.
Yeah, exactly.
I played against your father. You in the league, and it ain't like you just showed up. You in the league 3-4 years, and I can say to your face, I played against you. Ask your father about me.
Like the Gary Payton situation with the Lakers. Like, people don't remember that LeBron James played.
I played against your father.
Exactly.
That's how long I've been around. Ask your pops about me.
See, for me, that's the best part about LeBron James. Because the same way Jordan would come in there and smack people and say, yo, I need you around so I can keep disrespecting you. LeBron James is like, I don't care what your dad says or who he is. I played with your dad and I'm playing with you. I'm still here. So what does that say about me?
You know, young fella, I bust your father's ass.
Father's ass and I'm going to bust. Exactly. Who's more dangerous? That's the dude you don't want to meet in the street. I whooped your dad's ass and I'm going to whoop his ass the same way I did
your ass too. I'm saying.
Exactly.
Hey, Bob,
so,
man.
LeBron James, tap my hat, man. Have a good one, Chill. Thanks.
Good to talk to you, Bob. I know where to find you.
Go.
I just think it's incredible, man, that you've been able to play for that long at that high of a level and do what you did. More times than not, you're not going to see that. More times than not, you're not going to see that for somebody to play that long, and not just play that long, right? Not just play that long, but play that long at a high level. So I digress. I'm looking at the action last night, and there are teams that, are still in the wake, still in the middle of it. I'm still on the Cleveland train. I have never wavered when I said that this team, I like what I'm seeing from them, and I think that they are going to go deep in the playoffs. I think their ceiling. I feel like the Cleveland Cavaliers' ceiling is the East Finals. I feel like the Knicks, I feel like their ceiling, if Julius Randle could be healthy, I feel like their ceiling is the East Finals. I don't think that there's a team in the Eastern Conference 4 times in a week that could beat the Boston Celtics. I don't think that they can do it. I don't. I understand the skepticism. I understand the skepticism and the turnoff from Boston off the strength of what you've seen from Jason Tatum in the past. But I think that this team is set up in a way that, barring catastrophic injury, barring a total collapse, I can't see this team falling to pieces like that and them not winning the NBA championship. The thing I think about more than anything with this crew is that they have a net rating of 11.8. The Chicago Bulls in 1995-96 and the Chicago Bulls in 96-97 are the only teams that have a higher net rating. And both of those teams won the NBA championship. In the last 10 years, there's only been one team that has not, that has had a net rating that high and has not won an NBA championship, and that's the Spurs in 15-16. And that's because the Golden State Warriors won 73 games. We're leaving out the fact that San Antonio Spurs team, they won 67 games that year. And Kawhi Leonard getting hurt in the West Finals is the difference in that series. The complete and utter difference in that series. Because I'm confident that if Kawhi Leonard doesn't get hurt, I don't think that I'm not sure that they beat the Warriors. I'm not going to go that far. No, I won't do that. I won't go as far as to say that they beat the Warriors. What I will say is that's a different series. The Warriors do not sweep them. Under any circumstances, do I believe that the Warriors sweep them? No way. Do I think that? So the way that this team is put together, there are no holes. None. It's just a matter of going out and getting the job done. I hear the logic that Jason Tatum doesn't do anything elite. You can't really sell me that logic. And the reason why you can't sell me that logic is because when a guy is averaging 30 points a game, and in the process of him averaging 30 points a game, his team is at the top of the league. And he's improved off the year that he improved the year before that as a scorer, he 100% is elite. I don't know if there's any guy in the league that's averaging 30 a game, and you know what? You don't really do anything elite. You just do a whole lot of things good. That's just not true. We don't say that about anybody else. There is not one guy in the league that averaged 30 a game where we was like, yo, you don't do anything elite. That's just not true. That is just not true. On any level is that true. It's just not. So I think that this team is put together the best way possible to win the NBA championship. And if they don't do it, it's an indictment on them. It's an indictment on them because there's no reason why you shouldn't do it. None. None whatsoever. Because I look at this group and I look at everything you need to win the NBA championship. You need elite defense. They have that. They got a top, I think they're third in the league in defense. They're definitely top 5 in defense. Definitely. In the process of them being top 5 in defense, they have an elite offense. They got a top 5 offense. So with them having all of this stuff, they have elite perimeter defense. Not only do they have elite perimeter defense, they have elite scoring. They got a really good front line. They got a great rotation. They got elite perimeter players. They have the difference maker in the stretch 5. They have arguably, since he's been playing the way he's been playing, they have arguably the best backup lead guard in the game. I'm sure TJ McConnell will have something to say about that. I'm certain he will have something to say about that. With that being said, there's no reason why they shouldn't win it. None. When I think about the Western Conference and what I saw yesterday with this Milwaukee team, they let Milwaukee off the hook. Milwaukee is one of the best teams in the league in the clutch. I don't know if you guys know this, but I think they're at the top of the league in clutch wins. They're at the top of the league in clutch points. I think they're the second best defensive rebounding team in the league. They're in the top 3. They're in the top 5 in the league in clutch defense. The problem is that they have to fight their way back to that because they'll get thrown in a hole. I've seen them. I saw Portland throw them 27 in a hole. I saw Utah throw them 30 in a hole. I've seen teams throw them deep in the hole, and they got to fight their way out of that hole to get back in the games. The process of them doing that, they've developed this. They've actually developed that mantra of being a really good clutch team. Now, with watching them and seeing how Boston exploited the mismatches and exploited their schemes, and they basically hunted both Damian Lillard and Brook Lopez, other teams are going to see that. Indiana knows for a fact that they like switching 1s and 5s. And Tyrese Halliburton is looking at Brook Lopez like he is lunch. He wants all the smoke with him. And he wants all the smoke with Damian Lillard too. All of it. Every last bit of it. He wants all the smoke with Damian Lillard and Brook Lopez. All of it. I get the effort that I get from Malik Beasley, which helps. Won't argue that. It definitely helps. But I think that the way that this roster is constructed, I think that there's too much. I think that there's too much of a hole there in order for them to actually overcome that. So I think that the way that this whole thing is put together, there's no reason why that they can't win it. Not the Boston Celtics. I know how you guys are feeling about the Clippers. I'm out. I wish I could say that I was in, but I know these guys. I'm out. There's no reason for me to be in on this crew. What up?
Yo.
What up? What up?
Yeah, it's my first time on here, but I'm a Celtics fan, and I just feel like every time like I hear anything about the Celtics, it's just negative. I mean, like this is like the most disrespected team that I've ever seen win this many games in a regular season that I probably ever watched. I probably watched NBA since 2010.
They're on pace to win 65 games this year.
I've been watching the Celtics since like 2010, so I've never seen them win a title. But I mean, if this is the year, this got to be the year. And like all I'm hearing is like this is the 49ers of the NBA. like this is the Bills of like the '90s or the '80s, whatever, when they lost 4 straight Super Bowls. But I mean, so I don't know. Like I don't even know how to feel at this point. It's almost like I don't want to get excited about the team. So it's like I don't even know like how I should even feel about this team at this point. Like I watch them win games. It's like when they win a game, it's like, oh, they're supposed to do that. Then when they lose, it's like they're in like a lose-lose situation. It's like it's a regular season game. If they win it, then like when they lose, it's like the end of the world. But I don't know. Like I don't know how you feel, but
Yeah.
I mean, this is how I feel about it.
I think they're going to win the NBA championship. But it's good to talk to you, brother. I appreciate you, my man. No doubt. No doubt. I got a couple super chats, and I got to get out of here. So one is from Ahmad. He says, if they see the Knicks, again, Cavs getting punked. I don't like that matchup at all. I don't. I'd be lying to you if I said I did. I do not like that matchup at all. Because after I saw them in the regular season, and I saw what they did to them without Brunson, I don't like that matchup at all. I don't. I do not. Because the first thing I'm thinking is, you could be better than me. You just can't do that again. That can't happen again, yo. Nah, I'm not saying that you can't be better than me. Because you 100% could be better than me. 100%. You just can't do that again. And to see them dudes get pushed around again like that, nah. And I'm having a difficult time with the logic that won't happen again. I'm having a difficult time with the logic that won't happen again because of what I just seen. So I think if they can avoid the Knicks, I think that their ceiling is the Eastern Conference Championship. And I think that they can win a playoff series, barring they don't have to see the Knicks. Sports SP says, start bench cut, Jordan Love, Dak, CJ Stroud. I'm starting Dak. I'm benching Jordan Love, and I'm cutting CJ Stroud for right now. And I think that CJ Stroud has the best upside of all three of those guys, but I think Jordan Love can be an all-pro at some point. I 100% believe that. I'm not on the fence about that. I'm not thinking maybe. I'm not thinking possibly. I 100% believe that. So I got to bounce, guys. It was good to see you guys tonight. I will be here soon. I will be back soon. 100% I will be back soon. Hold on. I got one more guy I got to talk to before I go. One more. What up? What up? What up, Duke?
Hold on, I can't hear. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah. What up? Thought I had him. So anyway, I got to bounce. It was good to see you guys. I will see you guys soon. You know where to find me at. If I'm not here, I'm on TikTok. If I'm not on TikTok, I'm on a panel. If I'm not on the panel, I'm on Fluent and Chill. If I'm not on Fluent and Chill, I'm on Chill with Chill Wednesdays and Saturdays. You guys know where to find me. But until then, put on a suit, drink water, don't drink and drive. Hey, man, call your mother. When last time you talked to your mother? Call your mother. She wants to talk to you. I will talk to you guys soon. But until then, take it light. Take it. Absolutely, man. It was good to see you guys. No question about it. This was good stuff. We got some more shows coming up after this, too, by the way. We got some more shows coming on after this.